Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today we are discussing one of the most exciting watches of 2017, still a star and quite possibly the perfect Royal Oak. This is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar Black Ceramic. A wonderful, nearly indelible black ceramic composition with the weekly calendar perpetual system that Audemars Piguet has devised. It's a lovely 41 millimeters in black ceramic by 9.5 millimeters thick. If you just measure the case lug to lug, the total span across the wrist, case only, 50.8 millimeters. Now, if you measure these little end links, these intermediate plots, then the rigid distance across the wrist, you can see how there is a little bit of projection of the bracelet on each side. Total distance across the wrist is 53.7 millimeters. Now, all in titanium, sapphire, and black ceramic, this is a very light watch. It has no trouble fitting underneath the cuff, and although it's large, I find you could probably wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. My wrist, of course, for demonstrative purposes, is 16 centimeters in circumference. The watch has a bracelet that is crafted by hand. No, not the bare ceramic pieces, but the finishing. Now, it takes about 9 to 11 hours to hand finish a metal Royal Oak bracelet. These are finished using the same techniques, but the same techniques with more durable tools. So it takes about 3 times as long to hand finish these ceramic bracelets as it does the metal ones. So real time went into this, about 30 hours. And you can see it's finished the same way the metal one would be, with a bevel that expands from the lug hood all the way down the shoulders of the links. We have vertical satination outboard, longitudinal satination across the top. You can see that the ends of the intermediate links, these are polished in places where you almost can't see them in between the links. To keep everything in place, we have a combination of pins and bars that make sure all of these links are held fast. And take note, every single one of them is removable, so you're able to size this watch precisely. We have a titanium double deployant clasp. You can see internally media blasted and satinated. And unlike a lot of Royal Oak clasps, this one's not a sequential close. You can close either side first. It's retained using a twin trigger system, so you have to press both triggers in order to open it up. It stays quite secure. We do have a screw-down crown, but because of the through fittings, the pusher adjusters for the perpetual calendar, water resistance is just 20 meters. You want to make sure you don't soak this watch. Rain is okay, splashes are okay, just don't take it swimming and don't submerge it. You can see that the facets of the case are as sharp and well-detailed as they would be on a metal version. Again, all of this done by hand, just using very tough tools. We have a crown with a hexagonal form that matches the white gold bolts that sit inside the ceramic bezel, and they are bolts. You can see they sit slightly recessed inside the bezel. The nice thing about ceramic is it's very light, it's hypoallergenic, and it's almost completely indelible. It's incredibly resistant to scratches, whereas a standard Royal Oak is incredibly susceptible to scratches. The only discernible mark I can see on this watch is only available to the eye at certain angles. You can see there's a little bit of a nick on the profile of the bezel, but you can't see it from this angle. You can't easily see it in profile. You can't see it from end on. It's really only something you could see from right there. So that, for a watch that came out in 2017, given what a Royal Oak typically looks like after just a few weeks, that is a testament to the durability of the casing. The dial's beautiful. It's the Grande Tapisserie. It is the large hobnail. Not the petite, it is the grand, and it is the large hobnail cut on a pantograph. And that's critical. The biggest hobnail, which is the one you find on a Royal Oak offshore, that is stamped. This is still cut on a pantograph lathe. So you can see that there are patterns across the hobnails as well as in between. There are over 20,000 little dots on this dial. A large template is turned into a small template by a mimicry engine, similar to what you would have seen in the 19th century, and then it's galvanized this lovely gray color. We have a chaptering outboard that acts as the scale for the weekly calendar. It has a little white varnished pointer, a beautifully balanced dial with cruciform symmetry, both vertical and horizontal. We have white gold indices and hands, so they'll never oxidize or tarnish over time. We have a photorealistic moon phase, and then we have an aventurine glass moon phase disc underneath it, which I really like. We'll do a quick loom shot so you can see that this watch is legible at night. Now, it's a perpetual calendar, which means you don't need to make any changes, provided it keeps running until the year 2100. You've got your month, you've got your day, you've got your date, you've got your leap year cycle, you've got your moon phase. It's a 122-year moon phase, so one adjustment every 122 years. On the reverse side, even though the Jumbo has phased out the old JLC 920 Bausch, here we still have a 2120 base, the lovely old JLC 920, now made in-house and finished in-house by Audemars Piguet. In combination with the perpetual calendar module, this is only 4.5 millimeters thick. The base caliber is just 2.4, so it's a very thin movement despite the modular complication. And the base is one of the limiting factors in the production of these watches, because you could see that's a real mirrored hand-finished bevel, and many features of these 2120 bases, this combined with the perpetual calendar is called the 5134, but the level of finishing on this is much higher than what you'll find on, for example, the 7121 in the new Jumbo. It's also a little bit antiquated in some ways. It has a slower beat rate, 19,800 vibrations per hour, and an unusual arrangement for thinning out an automatic movement, which is that the rotor is sunken super close to the bridges in the base plate. Now there's this beryllium ring that runs all the way around, and then the mass just sits on one side of that. There are 4 ruby roller bearings on the base plate that allow all of this to be very close to the movement itself without any danger of collision under shock, because of those 4 ruby bearings providing support at all 4 corners. So that's how that works. It's a 38 joule movement. It beats away at, of course, 19.8. It is free sprung, so it's got a Gyromax style balance. That's an upgrade from the JLC original, which wasn't finished to nearly this level. By the way, this Bausch, the JLC 920, created in 1967 for Patek, Vacheron, and AP, only ever used by those companies, not by JLC, not by JLC's other customers. It's a very special movement. And you can see that it's beautifully decorated, huge stripes, incredibly broad with a lovely darkness gradient from side to side. You can see mirror beveling in every jewel and screw sink, an internally skeletonized and hand-beveled rotor, a solarized ratchet wheel, a solarized crown wheel core, all screw heads black polished, engine turning on the base plate, a black polished stud holder, and precise adjustment via variable inertia nuts on the balance rim itself. Again, all that automatic winding with a 40-hour power reserve. Reach out to Team Osso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.